Alright, so this is a recreation of the book Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. And so basically, the story begins. This character that I'm playing in the game um, is a biologist, and she and a psychologist, a anthropologist, and a surveyor all come to this region called Area X, where they try to explore and figure out what is causing the things within it. So they're the 12th expedition, and it's taken them about basically 4 days to get to this base camp. So they get here, they set up shop, and they do a little bit of exploring, and they see this tower, which is they notice to be a sort of peculiar thing to find, because it wasn't on any of the maps or anything. So they eventually go in. They're looking around, looking at all the walls, trying to find what they can, and they see this staircase, and they see the writing. There's writing on the wall. Now the biologist got too close, and the words, they were basically fungus, and it shot out spores when the biologist got too close, and so she kind of kept that to herself. But they headed out after that to return to the camp for dinner. But so they have their dinner, whatever. But then when they wake up in the morning, the anthropologist is gone, and the psychologist said that she returned home. But the biologist and surveyor didn't really buy that, so they ended up making a return trip to the tower, and the psychologist wouldn't come with them down. She wanted to keep guard up top. So just the biologist and the surveyor went down, and they went down to explore the tower even more, finding these words, and eventually they find the dead body of the anthropologist, who was killed by a creature called the crawler. And so they go back up thinking that the psychologist did it. So they're kind of trying to figure out what they're gonna say, how to confront the psychologist when they get to the top. And when they get there, she isn't there. So they run back to see if she's in the camp, and she wasn't. So they tried to figure out what they wanted to do, and the biologist wanted to head to the lighthouse, which was out in that direction, past the tower, and the surveyor wanted to stay here, return home. So the biologist heads out on her own, trying to get to the lighthouse. So after a little bit of a journey through woods and stuff, the biologist comes across an abandoned village that basically she found these human-like hedges, but I only had scarecrows, so found these hedges that had humanoid kind of features. They're shaped like humans and whatnot. Just thought it was really strange. Eventually making it to the lighthouse. In this lighthouse, there's a battle that basically went on from like the past, and there was blood everywhere. There was a painting on the wall, or a picture rather, with a person that had their face circled, and that becomes important later on in the story. But eventually make it to the top. They find this, basically a secret room with a whole bunch of journals from previous expeditions. Like, there's so many books that they're like, there had to have been more than just 12 expeditions. So, but she ends up seeing her husband's journal, who was in the previous expedition. She takes that and notices that the psychologist possibly jumped. So she goes down. The psychologist is down here, still alive somehow from falling off the top. And so the biologist sits there, asks her a bunch of questions, but she doesn't really get much like answers from her. Just basically more questions. So she head back to the camp. So as she's going back, she encounters the surveyor, and she thinks that the biologist killed the psychologist. So she killed her so she wouldn't kill the biologist. So continues her way. And eventually makes her way back to the tower to keep going and find the crawler. And she heads back down. Past the anthropologist and keeps going down. Eventually running into the crawler and having a experience with them, and finding out that the picture was the fisherman in the picture that was in the lighthouse. So the crawler turned into them. But eventually she reaches like a distance where she can't go any further, so she's forced to turn around. She makes her way back up, passes the crawler, which despawned in this game, but she makes her way back up. And tries to determine what her next move is going to be, but she knew that she wasn't going back. So she wanted to return to the shore and see if she could find her husband. She'll grab a boat and follow the shoreline and hopefully find her husband. But who knows? So yeah, that's my little reenactment of it. It doesn't have all the plot points, but it's pretty good. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you're at all interested, this is what the whole world ended up looking. Made in Fortnite Creative. Um, the tower. Made it so it sent me to this location over here. And I basically just built the whole thing and had it spawn me there. And I would go down the lighthouse, the little book room, just over here. Had it teleport me over there. But yeah, it took a little bit to make this, but yeah, that's what it looks like from above.